welcome back to my channel. So today we're sitting down and we're doing some speed reviews. Hopefully emphasis on the speed part. I have a tendency to just talk and talk. I'm going to try to not do that, but there are some products that I've tried out here recently that I really want to give you my updated thoughts on. Before we get started, don't forget to upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday for you guys. If you like this video while you're watching it, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. It really does help my channel out. And other than that, if you're excited and you want to see some speed reviews on some products I've tried here recently, then let's go ahead and get started. So most of the products I'm going to discuss here today are from my most recent Sephora Sale haul, but a couple of them are also some drugstore products that I've tried recently on random, like trying new makeups. If you do not see a product here that I have tried in a trying new makeup or other products from my haul that I do not talk about, I'm either going to talk about them in an upcoming video or I don't have my thoughts on them quite yet, and I don't want to prematurely come on and tell you my reviews about them before I have fully formed my thoughts. Let's go ahead and start off with the product that I've used the most out of this group of goodies that I'm here to talk to you about, and it is the Mercier Secret Brightening Powder for Under Eyes. I picked up the shade 1. This is so good. It sets my under eyes down so well. It is very like soft and airy. It's not a really thick powder, so it doesn't emphasize my under eye lines, which I have a lot of. It also has a little bit of that brightening aspect like it says, so it just kind of makes my under eyes look flawless, a little bit brighter, not too bright though, not like white or anything. The powder is on the white side, so like I don't want that to scare you. If you have fair skin to medium skin, this won't look like super white on you. They do have a darker shade as well, but I just feel like this sets my eyes down so nicely. It helps with the creasing because my under eyes do crease really badly, and it just makes them look flawless. Then we have some bronzers that I was so excited to get my grubby little hands on from this sale, and they came back in stock and I snagged them up instantaneously. The first one being the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Contour Wand. I picked up the shade Fair Medium. This is so good. This is so stinking good. Every good review, positive thing anyone has ever said about this, I'm sorry to tell you it is true because these are pricey. This is $40, which is just kind of insane for a liquid bronzer. The packaging is a little bit on the polarizing side. You either love it or you hate it. It has this little puff ball that you can just dot on your skin and then blend it in. When you first see this on your skin, it is so intense and you're like, what is happening? It is dark, it looks intense, it doesn't look like it's going to blend out, but as you keep just buffing it into the skin with your brush or your sponge, it just kind of blends in so nicely. It lasts all day long. It's a beautiful tone as well. It doesn't fade, it doesn't budge. I love this. Then we have the Patrick Ta Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo. I picked up the shade She's Statuesque, which is the lightest one. Another one that I really love, you guys. I don't love everything on here, so I don't want this to be like rainbows and butterflies and like I love everything, because that's not like super helpful for you guys. There are some things on here that I don't love, but I'm starting off strong. I love this. This is one that like I've heard kind of mixed reviews on it. People love their blush duos, but I had heard just more mixed reviews on the bronzer duos. But I personally, in my experience, have really enjoyed using this. It has the cream on top and the powder on bottom. You can use it either way. You can do cream first, then powder, powder, then cream, just powder. So it's a 4-in-1, which I personally really love, especially since this is a little bit higher price tag. I want to say this is $38, which is a lot of money for a bronzer. Blends in beautifully, lasts all day long. How I personally like to use it is I put the powder on first and then the cream on top, which is how Patrick Ta says to use these products, the bronzers and the blushes. And I never have any problem with either one of them patching, rubbing off, fading throughout the day. They go over a set skin very nicely, even the cream. And if you've had your eye on this, I highly recommend. Then we have a foundation and concealer duo that I unfortunately have not been able to make work out for me, which is such a bummer because so many people love this duo and so many people rave about both of these products together and individually. And it is from Catrice. This is their True Skin Hydrating Foundation. I picked up the shade 002 Neutral Ivory, and also their True Skin High Coverage Concealer. And in this, I have the shade 001 Neutral Swan. Okay, both of these are so incredibly drying on me. It does not matter what primer I use underneath or what powder I set it down with, it just looks drying. It almost feels like the foundation, just like my face rejects the foundation. I put this on and I try to buff and blend it in, and it just does not sink into my skin well. Every single solitary dry patch on my face, this emphasizes. Also, the color is a little bit yellowy orange for me, so it just doesn't match me very well. And the concealer, This baby makes my under eyes look terrible. And I'm so bummed because so many people love this, especially Kelly Gooch and Jessica Braun. They both rave about this, and they're both like two of my favorite YouTubers I love and trust for their recommendations, but this just did not work out for me. I believe Kelly Gooch says that this is a dupe for the Kosas Revealer Concealer. I don't see it. I love the Revealer Concealer. I think it's beautiful on my skin, but this again is just so stinking drying, and I don't think it's full coverage. When I put this on, I can still see a bunch of my like blueness peeking through, so I don't love that. So unfortunately, such a bummer. I just cannot make either one of these work. Next up, we have the Natasha Denona Glam Face Palette. So I picked this up during the Sephora sale, and I was so excited to get my hands on this. I wanted it during the first sale, not the first sale, but I wanted it during last year's sale, and I just didn't ever pick it up. And I kept thinking about it for like months and months. So finally, I was like, Emily, you clearly want this palette. Pick it up and try it. For the most part, almost everything about this palette, I absolutely love. These eyeshadows are some of the most beautiful eyeshadows I have ever used, and I'm not even like exaggerating that. They are so good. The three mattes that are in this palette are so beautiful. They blend in nicely. They do not get patchy. They do not get muddy. They blend together well. You can use one, you can use all three. It doesn't matter how much or how little you use of the mattes, they will look stunning. And then these two shimmers are out of this world. They are so foiled and reflective and just beautiful on the eyes. I cannot rave about these eyeshadows enough. I kind of wish she would just release like these 5 eyeshadows as a quad, and I hope that she keeps this shimmer formulation in the future, in future palettes, because it is her best shimmer formulation I have ever seen. The highlight, stunning, beautiful. I love it. I think it looks really pretty on my skin. It's a little bit dark if I'm not careful because it is more of that like goldy tone, but it really is reflective, poppy, punchy, beautiful. I cannot get this blush to work for me, and I have tried multiple times. I will say I haven't tried it with a sponge yet, which a ton of people tell me to do that. I never want to reach for it. Like truly, I never want to reach for this blush. Even when I reach for everything else in the palette, I'm like, nah, and I pick a new blush because like, I just have not had a good experience with it. I tried it on a set face with a dense brush and it just did not work out well. It got like bally and patchy. I then tried it on an unset face with a different kind of brush, with the e.l.f. Stiffle brush, and that worked out better. I will say it definitely looked a lot better the second time I tried it. And in that video I tried it the second time, a lot of you guys told me to try it with a sponge. I have not done that yet, so maybe my mind will change. But as of right now, the blush, I do not like it all, but everything else, 10 out of 10, especially these 2 eyeshadows. It's like, I'm not gonna tell you to buy a $65 palette for 2 eyeshadows because that's ridiculous, but honestly, they're worth it. All right, we're back for another bronzer, and this one I am a little conflicted on. I have my thoughts figured out, but I'm just like a little conflicted. Let me explain. It is the Dior. This is their Forever Natural Bronzer, and I picked up the shade 04 Tan Bronze, which is their lightest shade. Okay, most things about this bronzer I love. I love the packaging. I think it's really cute and like plushy and just adorable, right? I really love the tone of this. I love the actual shade. I think it's a beautiful, neutrally sort of shade for my fair skin. It doesn't ever pool too warm. It doesn't get too muddy on me. This is a really beautiful, buildable bronzer. If you are someone who does not like a really heavy bronzer, or like me, you go really heavy-handed with bronzer, and next thing you know, you have way too much on and you're like, great, awesome, love this. How am I gonna fix this? I never have that with this bronzer. It is buildable, so I do have to take my time, which is nice because then I don't go overboard. It lasts all day long. It's truly, truly a beautiful formulation and a beautiful bronzer, but it gets freaking hard pan. It gets hard pan. Can you see that right there at the bottom? Like all right here is like hard pan. And I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? Dior, this is like a $48, I think, bronzer. It should not be getting hard pan. But my Dior Powder No Powder also gets hard pan that I have from them, so I'm assuming it's just their formulation. Whatever type of powder or however they like to press it in, I don't really know what it is about this, but I am getting hard pan on this, and then like I said, I do on my Powder No Powder. So if you have a ton of Dior products and you absolutely love them and use them all the time and you do not get hard pan, please let me know your secret because I'm not happy about that. The fact that I paid all this money for this bronzer and it's truly stunning and beautiful, I want to reach for it, but it makes me not want to reach for it because who wants to deal with hard pan? Not me. And we have the One Size Turn Up the Base BBB Cream. This is their Beauty Blur Balm Cream. I picked up the shade Fair 2, which is supposed to be for fair, rosy undertones. So this is another one that I'm a little bit conflicted on. I bought this because Taylor Wynn was hyping it up, and when she would use it on her videos, it looked stunning on her. Like truly, it just blended into her skin so nicely, and I was really hoping that it would do that for me. It doesn't do that. The shade is not perfect on me. It does pull a little bit orangey yellow, which, you know, a lot of foundations unfortunately do that to me, but this is for rosy undertones, so you would think that it wouldn't, but either way, the shade's not perfect. Not the end of the world, but definitely something to note. Also, this formulation is very thick. Like, she is thick. It's almost like a whipped moussey sort of formulation. But even though it is a little bit thicker, it doesn't dry too quickly, and it is still fairly easy to blend out. This is a little bit on the drying side. I have to be careful, like, when I apply it, how much I apply. It does emphasize my like dryness on my forehead and my nose, which a lot of foundations emphasize. However, I like to mix this. This is a pretty good mixing foundation, which mixing foundations are good things to have in your collection. This one and my NARS Soft Matte Complete Foundation, as well as my Purito Cica Clearing BB Cream, all three of those foundations I really don't wear on their own. I really only mix them with other foundations. And this does a good job of mixing with other foundations because it makes whatever foundation I'm using a little bit more full coverage, a little bit more matte, which I enjoy. I love mixing this with my Purito Cica Clearing BB Cream. I love mixing the Purito with any of my foundations though, so don't let that fool you. Like, that is just my ultimate, most beautiful, lovely foundation. I love it so much. I mix it with everything. But those two together make a really beautiful product on my skin. This is nice and full coverage, and it does wear fairly nicely, which is good. So I feel like if you are someone who likes really full coverage, you don't mind a thicker foundation, maybe you're a little bit more oily so the dryness won't bother you, you would like this on its own. But for me, I'm just going to use it up by mixing it with other products. Then we're back to Natasha Denona, and during the Sephora sale, I picked up the mini Zendo palette. I'm really glad I picked this up. This had been on my wish list for quite a while. Kelly Gooch raved about it so many times, and I was like, okay, this looks so pretty on her. Like, I want this. It is a little bit interesting of a color story in the sense that it, I don't know, doesn't have a ton of, obviously, differences in the shades. It's a quad, so that makes sense. But like these three on your eye kind of all look the same. This does give a little bit of depth, which is nice because this one doesn't. And then this is like a really cool silvery sort of shade that is just pretty to pair with these corals. Do I get a ton of like different looks with this palette? No, but I kind of knew that going in, and anytime you buy a Natasha Denona quad, or really a quad, no, this isn't a quad. Did I call this a quad earlier? Obviously it's not a quad, it has 5. My bad if I did. I think I did. But anytime you buy a smaller palette, either from Natasha Denona or any other brand, chances are you're not going to get a ton of variety in your looks. I'm okay with that though, especially since I picked this up for $20. The formulation is there. The mattes blend out so pretty. This one is like, I don't know, it's a little bit interesting. It has like a little bit of a creaminess to it, but it's not a full-on matte, but it's not like a full-on shimmer. And then these two shimmers are just beautiful. This one is a little bit hard for me to use in conjunction with the other shades, but it is a really beautiful shade in general. So overall, I'm really happy I got this. Every time I have used it, I have loved my eye look, and I'm glad I picked it up. And last but not least, we have a drugstore lip product I want to discuss with you guys, and it is the L'Oreal Gloss Balm. I picked up the shade 30 Pristine Pink. I just don't like this. And the main reason I don't like it is the scent. I don't love how it smells, and because it smells so like perfumey and sweet, when I put it on my lips, I then taste it. So I'm smelling perfume, I'm tasting perfume, I just don't like it. Also, I just don't know if I'm the person for this sort of product. It is very sheer, and you can't build it up. So if you want just a really nice sheer wash of gloss, you may enjoy this, but for me, I like a little bit more impact on my glosses. I want it to look like this really pretty pink shade, and it just kind of doesn't on my lips because it's so sheer. But again, I can't build it up because it's very thick, so then it gets really stringy on my lips. And again, I just can't get past the taste. It tastes so perfumey and smells so perfumey. Also, the wand is just interesting. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I don't know, just overall, I don't really love this lip gloss. I kind of never reach for it. And that was it, you guys. That was some speed reviews on some products I have tried here recently. I tried to keep it short and sweet and simple. Some of them I feel like you've heard me discuss quite a few times on my channel. Some of them maybe not, but I wanted to give you my overall roundup thoughts on these products. I hope this was helpful for you in case you had any of these on your radar and you were possibly wanting to check them out. Let me know down below in the comments, have you tried any of these? Do you agree with my statements about them? Do you love them or not love them? Like I was saying, you guys know I'm nosy. I love hearing from you guys down below in the comments. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. You're awesome and I love you. Please subscribe if you have not yet, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye guys.